Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Trekking Across the Universe here on the Sunday Night Review. It is August 25th, 2024, and what a wonderful time. It's 6 p.m. out here on the West Coast. And let me go around the horn and introduce the host. Starting in the upper left, that would be Arc 54. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Odd day. I feel like been awake, asleep throughout the day. It's kind of odd. I feel like Sunday has been 4 different days for me.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
I
it's
know
kind of
that.
odd. But how's the weather up there?
Sunny and warm today. We actually
You
just put
got
the AC.
rain yesterday.
Yeah, it poured down. My girls actually had the front door open, and the girls came out and were staring at it in shock. It was like really pouring down there for a minute or two.
Well, I say this personally and professionally as a Southern Californian, Southern guy. I hate you. So, welcome in,
Love you
Marcia.
too.
How you doing out in Florida? How's everything? How's the
Hi
weather out there
there.
with you?
Well, this time of year it's always hot.
Hmm.
It always rains usually every day at about 4:45 in the afternoon, and life is good.
So it looks like the south is on the right, Marcia and the north is on the left. Richard, what up, homie Claus? How is up there in Ohio?
Everything is fine, Roger.
Really? How's your weather?
It's hot.
Oh, okay.
We
I
haven't
guess
had
we're
we
all
haven't
somewhere.
had any rain in a while ourselves.
Yes, I guess it has rained. So, wow, look at that. Already in the chat room. Elizabeth Bowman. Thank you for joining us, Elizabeth. And we have a like from Elizabeth. Oh, wow. Two Elizabeths. Wow. So, do we have a double E? Two Elizabeths. One is Olivia Cooper. Thank you for the like. And really good. Oh, and before I forget, Liz, I have a personal message for you from my sister. I'll tell you offline for my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool, surprisingly. As you know, I was able to get away very briefly yesterday, and I received 4 tickets from the Inland Empire 66ers. Got the jersey, and I didn't bring the jersey. Ugh, got to bring it a little bit later. But anyway, we're here. We're going to discuss the arc, episode 6, season 2. I should have said season 2, episode 6. It's a pretty big deal. Oh, and that's the name of the episode as well. Written by John Paul Nickel and directed by Milan Konjevic, and really good. So as we get into this, we've hit the halfway mark. Oh, and spoilers, everyone. There are spoilers, so heads up on that. Um, we're at the halfway mark. So what do you think so far about it? And thank you, Elizabeth Bowman, for the like as well. So I'll start off with Richard on this one.
I thought it was a very good episode. Yeah, for the halfway point, we finally got to a planet, my friend. Finally set foot down on a planet and actually found some other Arc 8 survivors. And then we killed some of them, and then we moved on. Well, then there was a big explosion. So there was all kinds of stuff in this one. There was soap opera elements and there was action elements. So this episode, halfway through, had it all.
Marcia, tell me, what are your thoughts about the episode?
I really like this episode. As Richard said, it was a great halfway point. There was a lot happening. We saw almost everybody do something, be involved in something important going on, and it was fun. It was touching. It was surprising. Turned everything on its head, and makes you want to see more.
Arc 54, no D. Go ahead.
If this is the halfway point, I honestly don't know if I can survive another 6 episodes. My heart is pounding in every which direction. They've taken us on one wild ride. I gotta say, this episode not only turned everything upside down, but it went sideways out the door right along with it. And it had, like Richard said, it's really kind of cute romantic moments, and we finally got an actual, truly real kiss, from Alicia and Angus instead of that little quick peck on the cheek that we had a couple of episodes ago. Or excuse me, say peck on the cheek. It was a quick peck
I,
on the lip. But this one was a real, we're going in for it. So, yeah, it had us going.
I think there was some payoff there. Obviously, I wanted to ask the director, but I didn't get a chance as to how many takes there were on that scene, how many
Yeah.
were there to, the individual actors, the two of them, how many were on set issues. Oh, sorry, got to do it again. Or even the director says, the angle wasn't right. Why don't you come on in this? However, whatever. Didn't get a chance to ask him, but it was really good. And I have to say that Dean Devlin, once again, he teased last year that episode 6 is the episode that kind of not necessarily pivots, but sends in a different direction. And he teased again this year. He said episode 6. And wow. Jessica Yemi earlier today did tell us, Marcia, what was it? Fabulous, or what was her word of that which comes?
Unbelievable.
I wasn't listening, apparently. Unbelievable. Yes. All right. Well, absolutely awesome. I think I did give the credits, right? Who written by, directed by for the
Yes.
episode?
Mhm. Yes.
Thank you. All right. So we're really into it. Again, guys, we don't have to go beat by beat. We can do good and bad. I don't know if we're doing it on this program or if we are doing beat by beat. There's so many that I do now. I'm sorry. I've lost track. Richard,
Yeah,
what is that? Is that a pillow so you don't hit your head?
it's my mic condom.
I couldn't tell. Good job. And I am impressed because I was able to see it
That's what fell off.
from all the way over here. So, folks, I do apologize. I really don't know what is going on. I've noticed that for the last hour or so, I am having difficulty hearing. So, if I do not hear you, it may be me. I don't know. I do. Everyone knows I do have hearing issues, and I've just noticed in the last bit of the prior episode and in now, you guys sound very, very far away, and I'm not smart enough to play with my settings on the computer. So I don't know what it is. What? What? Come on.
No, I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word. If you need
That's a
some,
first.
if you
So
need some
let's
help
get right
adjusting
into it.
your settings,
It's just in my settings. I think it's just all in my head, but that's all right. So um, let's get to it. Arc 54. I was going to say 47. Arc 54. Tell me, what do you want to get to? Good, bad, or particular scenes? And then we'll go Marcia and Richard and myself.
um, I can't honestly say that there were any bad scenes, but there was certainly a whole lot of good scenes. Like I said, we finally got that payoff with Angus and Alicia. I absolutely adored, though, the fact that Angus was having that talk with Lottie, and they had the whole vodka talk of, you haven't thought about, growing potatoes for vodka? And the look, I mean, the look on their face was priceless. And then both of them throwing back shots, and the one that Angus took was enough to knock him out. The second one, he's tossing over his shoulder. I thought that was kind of cute. It's like, oh, that's it. I'm not a drinker. And then him, getting up the courage to go in there and talk to Alicia. I thought that was really good. And I don't know who mentioned it on a prior show, or maybe it was within one of the chat rooms, but they had said it was too bad that when she opened the door, there wasn't another guy standing behind her. That would have been like so frustratingly good. I absolutely adored just the whole surprise, with Lane's eyes to finding out he was a clone. Although I'm beginning to think Lane was not the clone. Lane was the original. And the others, I don't think are Gen 2s. I think they are Gen 3s. They just haven't snapped yet. And as far as who blew up the planet, I'm pretty sure that's probably Lane. Well, the clone, I am. But that's kind of my quick rundown on it.
I want to know if anyone got a piece of tape and put it on his foot because he did not have that tattoo. It was scratched off. And what was the kid's name from Toy Story? I wonder if someone put it
Oh,
on there. There's a blooper on there.
that'd be funny.
It,
The real boy, Andy.
Andy, yes, that
Andy,
would have been
yeah.
so funny if they're doing a take and it says Andy when he's looking at his foot. But that's okay. That didn't come to pass. That's interesting because the other clones were told, based on that one, that he died.
The brother had died, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So is he in fact just one of, or is he the primary and they're cloned of him? Hmm.
And here's the thing. There were 4 supposedly of that pod, shall we say. Only one, and of course Lane. What happened to the other 2? Did they actually perish or did they get off the planet and we're going to run into them in the future?
That's right. Did they make clear, Marcia? Did you get that from the episode of Richard that the other clones were aboard Arc 8? Did you get that impression or that idea?
I did
No.
not. I just we did because if they were, Ian kept it under his hat, and so I did not get that impression that there was the other 2 are on 8. If they are in, they may be on the other higher numbers. So I don't know, and I don't know. I think Lane. I'm gonna go with Lane is a clone because of the scar on his foot. But it'd
Oh,
be interesting. But it'd be interesting that if he's not that, even though maybe the story of his scar is true, which will, but in the meantime, it'll drive him nuts. Trying that he may be a clone. So that'll be another, another something to drive Lane nuts or give him some trauma, thinking he was the real one. Now he's still trying to come to terms that he has a clone.
Yeah, considering he hates clones. It wasn't until just recently he's come to terms with it.
Yeah. So, and I know that, as far as the explosion, was it Ian? Did he? Because he's the one that wants to mess with the FTL drive down on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Didn't want to mess with it. Went really out of his way to say, this is wrong with it, and there's no power, and he's holding up, the severed power cord and everything else. He really went out of his way pushing that.
I missed that.
Oh yeah, he went out of his way to.
Yeah.
No, don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was really protective of the non-working FTL drive that they could not take with them because, everything was broken. They couldn't, Anyway, what did you think about it, Marcia?
About that particular.
Well, what
scene?
were your thoughts about it?
About that scene?
About the episode in general?
Good,
Oh,
bad, and
well,
different.
Well,
Good, bad, and different.
Well, one thing we were kind of talking about, I was thinking about the if there was a scene that kind of didn't seem quite right to me. Most of the episode, as I said, was very cool. Was the surgery with Kelly, and neither doctor had on a mask, and I thought, well, that's kind of odd, because Dr. Kabir had stated how serious this surgery was going to be, and there was I didn't quite expect an operating room separate from everything, but I did think it was odd that there was not a lot of bacterial protection, given that it's 100 years in advance. So I thought, oh well, maybe they've got this, maybe area where they mist down or something, and they protect. But then when they started using the thread on her neck,
Oh,
I
that's
thought,
bad.
that's kind of primitive. I can do that at home with my sewing basket. And
Well, yeah.
I thought that was odd for being 100 years in the future, that they were still using what could be, really thick carpet thread, because it was really thick too.
That's gonna leave a heck of a scar, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm used to, well, you take this machine and you go down and you seal it. Well, nowadays you even use that the clear stuff to put wounds.
Transdermal glue, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was the only little beef that I had. Um, Overall, I thought that we were forewarned that this was going to be a game-changing episode. So I figured there was going to be something I was not prepared for what did happen as far as the clone issue. I thought it was really interesting how Garnet was so happy to see. She seemed really
It's fun.
happy.
Oh yeah. It's
I'm a
almost childlike
clone.
when she stepped forward to him. I'm a clone too.
Yeah, she seemed to almost find her people in a way.
Hmm.
I found my people, and
Yeah.
I was glad for her. But it won't be smooth sailing. It's going there's going to be lots and lots of trouble ahead, which is what we want to watch.
But
Yep.
in a way, she was so happy that she kind of threw security up to the wayside. Said, "I'll leave them alone. They're fine. Let's take them. We'll take them with us." And
Yeah. Hmm.
but I guess they did in 100 years. You still won't have Dr. Crusher's little thing that she can heal things on the fly with that her medical bag.
Is
So
that the dermal regenerator, maybe?
the regenerator, yeah, she goes. But still, they just be using. I don't know how much stuff they have, though. I mean, were they out of masks? I don't, We don't know what kind of supplies made it with them.
Yeah,
Because
but
you're
for
right.
that kind of surgery, come on.
At least find something to cover their face. You're right there, Marsha.
Elizabeth does say they may have skipped the masks and surgery because it was hard to hear the
Yeah.
actors speaking through them.
That did cross my mind. However, it's not the first time on TV that they've people have shot a scene in a surgical suite or something.
Look at
So
Grace, for pity's sake. How
yes,
many
I
episodes are shot with
appreciate
that?
that, Elizabeth Bowman.
Well, we've heard it through masks before, so it's not like it. But it's, or maybe they just didn't care because it was Kelly.
Ooh.
Oh, she has the nanites. Who cares?
She has the nanites. She's Kelly. Screw the man. I don't know. It's kind of a good catch, and it's kind of, so what? I mean, well, I noticed. Some of us pick up on those things, but I don't know. You think they get new, but they did get a bunch of new supplies from Arc 3.
Yeah.
So you would think some masks would have came along.
Well,
they
yeah,
were even wearing gloves, Marcia. I don't remember.
they were wearing gloves, but and when he handed the implant to Griff, was that Griff? Yeah. It was done very gently, and oh, it's so careful, and do this, and and Dr.
Yeah, the
Kabir did
bomb.
seem concerned for Kelly's as far as bacterial infections and things like that. So and yeah, without first, Elizabeth, I thought you were saying he initially was doing the surgery without any antiseptic. I thought you were going to say without any anesthetic.
Oh.
Would have been super cruel, but yeah.
Ooh, wow. A little sadist there, young lady.
that would have been really cruel, but yeah. So maybe they did with what they had. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt real quick. We do have a like from Sonia Robles. Thank you. We're up to 3, folks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to take this moment, please. Head on over to ndbmedia.net. You can take a look at everything that is going on in the calendar. And, folks, there's a lot of stuff that we have going. I believe it is updated. We're going to do a quick little peek right over there so you know what it looks like. ndbmedia.net. And our next guest will be Dr. Kabir. It is Shalini Paris, and that is on the 30th, as well as the writer of that weekly episode, episode 7, India Sage Wilson, on the 31st. And I would almost say Darth Vader, but it wouldn't be appropriate in this one. It would be Paul Leonard Murray on the 31st. So check it out. You can stay up on our Twitter feed as we're trying to update the website there as well. But there's some stuff going on right there, folks. So please like and subscribe. It helps us out. And I think we're at 351 now on YouTube, folks. A year ago, we were at 106 when we started. We're at 351. Wow. We're going for 1 million, but secretly, we need 1,000. That's where we need to get. So really, no, seriously, because then we can do a lot of different stuff on YouTube. That's the fact. But if I do 1 million, I'm. This is probably an insult to our generation, but the definition of true leadership, not that I am, is setting a target and come hell or high water. That's how we're gonna get there. So our moon project today is 1 million. And why do we go there? We go there because that's what we do. That was a lousy John F. Kennedy speech. And for everyone alive, it's like, dude, you suck. So anyway, head on over to that and help us out on that, please. And we are thrilled that you're able to do so. And if you want to support the crew, you see it down there at the bottom, buymeacoffee.com/NDB Media. Rockers, Los Angeles.
Hey, rockers.
Good evening, space refugees.
Ooh, I like that.
That's funny.
cool.
I like it. Oh my goodness. I was gonna do the Wolf of Wall Street where he's like, I like it, I like it, I like it, but that's a scene that I didn't want to replicate right now. So it's okay. Who else wants to comment on some of the stuff? Or actually, let me give you my quick review on the episode. I mentioned to both the writer and the director of this episode that this was a scene that I did not look at my watch, or not a scene. It's an episode. It moved quickly, it moved well, and it had my attention throughout. I was not distracted by other stuff. I did get a comment by John Paul, the writer, or at least one of the writers on the team and the episode. He said, "Don't take notes. Watch it the first time, then take notes." And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to try that more often. And I do appreciate that from the writer himself. I have to acknowledge that. He said, dude, watch it. And then if you're gonna do it again, then take notes. I'm like, oh man, that means I gotta do it twice. So, all kidding aside. I did enjoy the episode. It moved fast, quickly. I didn't have as many questions as I had in episode 5. I mentioned in episode 5 there was a scene that really got on my nerves, but there really wasn't anything in this one. I appreciated how Alicia and Ryan. I guess this is a big payoff for all of us, huh? Will they? Won't they? Whatever. And Alicia and Ryan finally getting that connection. I mean, well, it's been there, but they finally kissed on screen, I suppose. It was kind of neat. It was kind of cool. It went quickly. There was very little words. It's yeah, it was nice and it was good. There were a few other scenes, as I mentioned when I told the director. I was so taken by you guys that I wrote Lane's dad just before he was revealed, and it turned to be Lane's brother. So we'll see. Um, oh, okay. We lost Arc 54 temporarily. I believe she's lagging. So we have had internet issues. Folks, we really don't know what it is, but it looks like there is something in Southern California. All kidding aside, right, Liz?
Yeah.
Not
I just
necessarily
noticed
Southern California, but in California.
all of California. I noticed how bad I was lagging. I was like, yeah, let me see if I can correct this.
I see Marsha and Richard not lagging. I do see a little bit of lag with you, but I don't know if I'm lagging. So does that
You're
make me a
not.
double lagger?
You're not. You're good.
Oh, that's reassuring. Based on what I got before we went live. Yes.
I guess if anything, like say if a scene bothered you or something bothered you, I thought that the glass in the shuttle was very fragile to be broken that easily with the bricks, especially when you're in space and you've got, objects going 20,000 miles a second. But it just put a hole right through that. I guess because I think it seemed like it's harder. It would be harder to get through an automobile window, let alone. But I just thought that would be a little bit more harder to get through. But they just had those little rocks, and they get, my gosh, that's pretty. I mean, I know it was a suspenseful scene, so don't get me wrong, it was a nice suspenseful scene, but it just seemed like it was kind of too easy just to start breaking into that glass.
Richard, I thought the same. Whereas I'm like, dude, you guys gotta go. You have to move.
Yeah.
For me, it was suspenseful that way, yes. But I do want to say, Rockers, yes, I was going to go back because everyone knows I have the vodka hidden behind the Federation flag. No, the Jedi flag. So go figure. Yeah, there was some. There was a little bit of that stuff involved, but it worked, I suppose. And I have to tell you, in my true life experiences, yes, I know I didn't have a program last night, and I apologize. I will have one next week. They say that liquor is truth serum, and what else? It's liquid courage. For me,
But Angus wasn't drinking
No.
it though.
Yeah, remember he threw out his.
He was doing
The second one he threw out, not the first
Yeah.
one.
He was throwing them out. He might have had
he
one,
did.
but he wasn't in. He didn't have a lot of them. I mean, I don't know if he had one or not, but we did see him start throwing them out. Throwing them over his shoulder. So I guess then you can't go back. Well, he was under the influence when he went to see Alicia, but
Right. He had a shot. That was it. He did have one, but he wasn't drunk. That was cool.
well,
That's
then
very
again, it's
good.
his first one, and plus he's so small, it might have had an effect on him.
Ryan, do you wish to comment on that, Ryan?
Maybe he's a lightweight.
Since we're talking about the scene with Kelly and Angus at the end, I kind of think it would have been out of character to have a guy in Alicia's room, because we knew that she had such feelings. At least that's what they showed us. Now, if there had been, it would have been a complete shock to me, and I kind of don't think I would have liked it very much.
Well, I was thinking more of somebody can drop off something, just a friend or whatever, and there wouldn't be any sexual connotation to it. Just happened to be just another guy in there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I'm good.
Another Angus interrupted. So, and I think if
Another
if they
Angus?
would have done that, the fans would have broken their screens because we're tired of screwing around, right? We're tired of something getting in the way of their kiss, their hug,
No, I
their
see. Yeah.
very important conversation.
Mhm.
So, and another guy in there, even though he might be there just as a friend, is still a little. I don't think Alicia would invite someone in her room like that anyway.
Yes, and this is really cool. No, you know what, Elizabeth? Sup? Very good. I like that. JP Nichols said on Friday that they agonized over what Angus would say when Alicia opened the door. Yes, yes, and yes. You are so right. And yeah,
And actually,
I
he kind of
suppose-
liked the idea. He said he kind of liked the idea that there would have been a guy in the room.
That's
So
where I
I-
heard it. Okay.
I
thought that
think
was
though that
fun.
these writers would have had set up the scene before that a guy was in there doing a safety check and maybe having to check the uniform or something, and if the door opened it would look bad. I'm glad that they didn't do it that way. They just
Yeah.
went for full resolution. If they would have wanted to put a guy in there so that Angus would get confused or disappointed,
Mhm.
they could have done it that way, but they didn't. This was a genuine, finally, they, even the writers themselves didn't want to screw with this relationship, for lack of a better word. So
Yeah.
I know, I'm sorry, I apologize,
No, that's all right.
but go ahead, Richard.
No, I was just going to agree with you. I mean, it would have been bad form for there to be a guy. I mean, it would have. You think about it, it would have been nice. I'm not nice, but it would have been just one more. Then we'd have to wait till next episode for Alicia to explain to him why that person was in her room. So that'd be more, more suspense for us to wait for them to get that conversation out of the way. So I would have to wait till after next episode for the kiss. because she would
Well,
explain it to him, and then they would kiss. But yeah,
well, let me ask all of you now. Are we seeing the beginning of a new relationship and we are seeing the ending of another one between Eva and Bryce? There's two episodes now that there's some stuff there, and I believe this was the episode where Eva flat out tells him, "Oh, you're not trying to, you're actually here trying to score." Was it this
yeah,
episode? It was, wasn't it?
yeah. She go, "You're here for sex. You want sex?" He's like, "No, that's what I'm here at for all." But she is getting very defensive and not wanting him around anymore. And I don't know what it's all about. I mean,
Yeah,
Marcia keeps bringing it up that you can't, you have to have this turmoil between, you can't have a happy couple all the time because fans will get bored with it. So Marcia brought that up for the last 2 weeks on us. There's going to be some trauma. Now listen to me. I'm a woman. I'm from the South, and I know these things.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from New York, so that just compounds it.
That makes it to the 10th power. But but you saw it. But we all know that. I mean, you can't have this happy thing going on forever. So we'll see how long this lasts.
Elizabeth does say, I think Eva is bogged down with guilt and or focusing on whatever her mission is supposed to be, therefore pushing Bryce away. Rockers, and any ideas who Eva really is or what she's done that's so secretive? Um, Let me take that one. It looks like, based on the evidence, that Kimmy and her assistant, Hunter Killer, the they
buddy.
found her file and they noticed that everyone had a training image on, except for her. She had her duty overalls on or coveralls. I don't, or duty uniform. So that's out of the ordinary, and clearly out of the ordinary. No one did that. So, and I think we did have a scene where Eva did clear out her file, right?
Yes,
Oh yeah.
Okay, we did
that
see
was
that.
like an episode ago or two.
So, why are they after? And we cannot say that episode 4 had anything to do with it, as I implied that, oh, well, maybe there's some long lasting effects. There are, and we're starting to see them already. And I appreciate, Liz, you coming around on this one. I think, Marcia, you did as well. There are some subtle things that we're picking up, but that might be just excellent writing, and we're inferring things. But I'm glad that you guys have come around on that. There are lasting effects from episode 4. In other words, we didn't get back to the original universe that we thought. That's all. There have been some changes. Eva. Oh, it turns out that Dominic. Oh my God, that's his real name.
Yeah.
Dominic Chichak.
Yeah.
What's his name on the ship?
Harris.
Harris Becker or something. Yes,
Yeah.
Harris.
Harris.
He was Eastern Federation, right?
Correct.
And they were together. Now, in
Mhm.
a post 9/11 world, if you give aid and comfort to the enemy, you are the enemy. So, does that make her Eastern Federation? In the United States, it would make her guilty of a crime. So, I don't know. What do you think? Is she Eastern Federation? I believe she is.
I
But
think she is, but go
she
ahead.
turned.
Exactly. But here's the thing: I don't think Bryce is. I think Bryce is a double agent, and always was, because there's too much going on there. Because Kimmy asked him point blank, "Hey, did you know this pilot back, in training?" And he completely blew her off. Well, there's so many pilots. How am I supposed to know? But look at that face. He knows. I don't think Bryce's character that we have seen would honestly be, and he's a lot smarter than we give him credit for. He's acting a lot dumber than he is, and all going back to Lane's father, and then in the alternate reality where he supposedly saved Lane's father, and he's the only one that died. Bryce is a double agent. He infiltrated the Eastern Fed. There's no other way that I can see around that he's not. I notice you're nodding up there, Marsha. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, I agree. I think that Bryce is a lot smarter than he has given um, us evidence of. And I don't think he's Eastern Federation. I think he may even belong to some group that we don't even know about yet. That's even more connected in a way. Um, they have ramped things up so much. I thought that it was interesting that J.P. Nickel said that they cram at least 3 episodes worth of work of story into each episode
Mhm.
because it moves so fast that we have to watch it more than once to catch
Oh
more.
yeah.
And the challenge for me um, is to find all those little pieces. And I think Elizabeth, that I actually hadn't thought about that too much until you said what you said, because remember when Kimmy was saying, "Oh, you're pretty boy," and trying to make us think that Bryce is kind of what do they call it, a male bimbo, a mimbo.
And yes, Ruckers, I'm not falling for that smooth guitar
Yeah,
playing. Although Richard, the
I'm
actor, is amazing.
I'm interested to
Pardon.
see what happens. Um,
I
and I
wanted
want
to
to
know
know
if
what,
the
what
actor,
Laddie and Kimmy are up to.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to know if the actor Richard asked him to put that guitar in that story so he could have it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty certain that he asked for the hat too, because I've seen pictures of him wearing that hat on other
Mhm.
things.
So, but
Really? Ah.
that was pretty funny that they found that toy chest, you know,
I
and
love that
everybody.
for Remember Earth.
I liked it too, but it seems like they were hogging everything, and then the crew didn't get any didn't get any presents for Christmas, you know. So,
They had the whole crew come through gradually.
but
I thought it was very fitting that Sharon got the deck of cards, because that is definitely how I see her.
yeah,
You know, Mm.
so
She got the shades for Lane, which kind of fit.
Well, I kind of think Lane might have been a little right about shouldn't we save these for posterity? And Sharon said, well, we need. I kind of felt both ways about it because that might be the last guitar ever. Although um, Evelyn probably has a bunch of crapola on her ship.
Oh God, yeah. You see all those paintings?
Mm-hmm. Does anybody miss Evelyn? We haven't seen her in 3
No.
episodes.
But you know the woman's gonna reappear just like a cockroach.
maybe not until the end even, but yeah, there's just like there's still we don't know what Art 15's finding out there. I mean, they're on their separate things, so it's and
I
Oh,
like
that's good.
cabinet hoggers. I do want to take a quick moment. Sorry. Casey Kendall, thank you. We just got a like. We're up to 4. Thank you, folks. And once again, I ask if you have a chance, please on YouTube, give us the we're doing our moonshot project here on Moonshot Project, and yet we're trekking across the universe. Whatever. Yeah, we need the likes on YouTube, folks. We thank you ever so much. But go ahead, guys. Sorry, I had to walk away. I'm sorry. It still is rather hot out here, and I had to go get some water and ice. I'm sorry.
Oh. Well, what about the Juno project? When Lane found out that Sharon did
Mhm.
look, and of course, just when they were going to have that conflict, distress call.
yeah, that was another. Well, that was another comedy moment there for the show, where you did look, and she wasn't going to tell him anything, and but she wasn't going to tell him let him look at it. Well, let me look. No, you can't look. So that was kind of funny, where that part too.
Yeah.
So that was funny. I like that. I like that scene, but between those two.
Mhm.
Now, I want to back up on the whole thing for Juno because when she saw who was on the Juno, there was a bit of disgust in her reaction. She wasn't happy, but when it comes to Lane, she's warming up to him.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't believe that. I think this is an easy one. That Lane is not there or not on the list for Juno. I want to give a shout out to Hope. Hi Hope, how you doing? Thank you for giving us the like as well on Facebook. Do appreciate that. And as you know, Hope is one of our hosts on the network. Genuinely a big part of House of the Dragon. I don't know if she watches the Ark. Hope, do you? Are you
I've
in?
been trying to get her to.
Is anyone watching the program wanting to join us as a host? Rockers!
Please, rockers.
Okay, I was going to scream out the name, but it would forever be held against me. So I was like, no. So I'm going to leave that one there. And not yet. I'm trying to find time. Yes, I hear you. And we got another like right now. Glenn Chilson. Thank you. And folks, due to my Latin heritage, if I do butcher, please sound it off phonetically so that I can
Well, okay.
butcher
Well,
it
it's
again.
Eva or Ava. I don't know what you were saying, but it wasn't either of those.
Right. I don't. Wait a minute. For what?
Well, first you're saying Eva.
Eva.
Yeah.
What about Ava?
Then he backpedaled.
Why don't you just spell it out? EVA.
But either one could be
It's
correct.
my accent.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Oh no! Nice try.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
a record, unfortunately, that is in our dubious Hall of Fame. So no. That
Isn't he
was on
sitting next
Sports
to-
Talk with the guys, and it was my buddy right here and the big dog that even outdid the king of all media, whatever his name is,
Howard
Howard
Stern.
Stern. Yeah. No, rockers. I'm not challenging you, but we already have a record of F bombs. There was 17 in 4 minutes. So there's no need to.
That's a lot of cursing.
And they actually had
I
a
know
conversation,
that
yes.
I don't know who was responsible for all that, but you know, we need to crack down. on
You and the big dog. So anyway, we do appreciate the likes, guys, and thank you. And again, if I do butcher the name, please let me know. So let's see. Frogs, fizzles, fudge, friskies. Oh, yes, I guess those are F-bombs. All right, but all kidding aside, guys, I missed what you guys were telling me about Ava, because I thought I was talking about the whole thing with Lane and Garnett and Juno.
We were.
What
Yeah.
did I miss about Eva?
Eva. That's the butchering of her name. Eva.
Yeah. Eva.
What's wrong with Ava?
Oh God, you did it again.
I'm Latin. Let it go.
Can't fall back on that excuse forever.
Shown up, baby. So, all right. I do know that, as you mentioned, Lane did get a little miffed that Sharon peaked, because I know I wrote that in my notes. Sharon peaked, so that was interesting. Now, I don't know the name of Kimmy's hunter-killer assistant, and whenever I refer to anyone that's in the biodome, whoa, Hope, whoa. At this point, I've gotten used to Roger saying the names differently every single time he refers to a character.
Oh boy, Hope. We'll have to have a conversation later. What?
Uh-oh.
What?
Why?
Because we like talking about you.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I'm all right with that. All evidence to the contrary before we began, right, Marcia?
Mhm.
Oh, great timing. She took a drink so she couldn't
I took a
handle
drink.
it. Smooth move, woman. That was good. Let me see. I love that you have to do that though, Roger. It's part of your character traits. Wow. Yeah. And for those of you that know psychology, yes, I deliberately have an open A that is looped at the end. So if all of you know what I'm talking about, it has nothing to do with all psychotic killers having the open looped A. So, well, I'm glad you guys find that funny, but that's all right. Elizabeth Sears, Lottie Mere is in the biodome drinking with Angus. So is that her real? That's her real name, right? What is
Lottie.
her character's name?
That's her character's name.
That's your character's name.
Okay, I refer to all the engineers as Angus Pitt engineers in my notes. That whenever something is going on in the biodome, I refer to them as the Angus Pitt engineers. So
Okay.
that's the name I had for her. So sorry, but thank you, Elizabeth. I will definitely butcher that one as well. Thank God I didn't say what I was about to say.
But
Let's
that
see. Her name is
Coral is
Lottie,
Lottie.
right? Or is it Lati?
Lady, Lati, and Coral. Please don't ask me to pronounce the last name.
Wait a
It's the
minute.
person's-
Her name is Lati,
The character's name is Lady.
but it's Lati.
Correct. Her real name is Coral.
Corel. Anyway, Hope, thank you. Take care of your kids. We appreciate you stopping. Ooh, Liz did get pissed right now. Wow. Thanks, Hope.
It was interesting that the Lottie
Coral.
character
Coral.
got more information. Was able to take all that information from Angus, and I just thought it was an innocent conversation between the two, but she actually used it, to gather information about the crew and stuff, and report back to Kimmy about it. That's that was an interesting twist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of those things where so now it becomes they're not just sharing a friendly drink. It's like, well, we're gonna get them really drunk, so I can get pumping for information. So that was interesting that Lottie did that.
I have to take a picture of this for posterity's sake.
Yeah, I'm doing it too.
Oh my God. Thank you, Hope. Jeez. I know it's thank you. What were we talking about?
Well, I, for one, was really, really happy that they finally got to a planet. I've been hoping since, in the middle of season 1 that they were actually going to set foot on another world. And I'm really, really happy that they did that.
It really was cool. And when we got, I shouldn't say when we got, but when we received explanation by both the director and the writer about that episode, and we learned sadly that the writers are not able to go on set, which is a normal thing under production. But due to the fact that most of them are here in the United States, the writers aren't allowed to. It's not that they're not allowed, it's just they don't go over there. But the director was telling us that it was green screen and it didn't look like that. That was cool. I really felt that they were on a full. Of course, they had some items in there, but there was obvious there were the moments where they're green screen. But they said they did it all green screen.
Yep.
That surprised me. That was a great job.
Isn't
Go
it
ahead,
that
Marsha.
new technology? They call it something else, but maybe that was that new technology.
You're
Is that
correct.
the one that they made famous on the Star Wars program, the Mandalorian, where it's in like a 3 or 4D environment?
Yes.
That's in Toronto. Do they have one out there in Serbia? Wow.
I know
crazy.
Dean was talking about and showing
Was.
pictures right after he had gotten one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
We talked about that episodes ago about them having that over there.
Yeah, the LED display thing.
Yeah. We think that was due for them this year, right? I mean, they just got that in this
Correct.
year because
Yes.
that's their bigger budget. So
Mhm.
yeah, so I mean, we've talked about that. We've been talking about that all.
And I believe Kevin Good is one who kind of runs a lot of that. Who helps set all that up.
So that was an interest. It seems like all the all the planets they land on are always these rocky, barren places. You know, at least I like to see them on a planet where they actually have trees and plants like they would do in Star Trek. But they're always. I guess it's easier to do. Just put down some rocks instead of take forever to put down plants and birds and bugs and stuff. But
And okay, all right, we got to go back to Beetlejuice. Kevin Good, Kevin Good, Kevin Good.
Yay,
Oh
there you
my
are.
goodness! Oh my
Say
goodness!
the name and he appears.
All right. Wow.
Oh my God, we're blown away.
Woo.
What were we saying?
Tell us about it.
Wow, Kevin, do you wish to join us? I mean, this would be a great way to make an intro. The planet was green screen. Wow, Kevin. Wow. We're gonna get to that one in a moment. I also want to give a quick. I hope Ava doesn't turn traitor. Thank you for that. And it's Demelza J. Schiltz, is it not? So I know again, due to my Latin, yes, I'm going with that. Due to my Latin heritage, I'm not able to pronounce everything, but thank you, Schiltz. And going back to Kevin, wow, wow, we're this is crazy. What a pleasant surprise. Elizabeth Bowman says was volume. The planet was screen. Okay. Now, I do want to back up a moment, and I do thank you for that, all kidding aside, and we are humbled. We do know that people are watching and they don't comment, and we are thrilled when you do. And look, what does it do to us? It turns me into jello. I did appreciate that line of Bryce because, again, I don't take Bryce as the deepest thinker on the ship. He's not dumb, he's not stupid, but he's more of a brute force. And yet he was the one that said, guys, we're on another planet. I mean, that hit for me. That was cool. I don't know if you guys reacted to that in the same way, but I thought it
Oh,
was
yeah.
really neat. He wasn't a tourist. I mean, even he who has been in space doing this other stuff, guys, I know we're supposed to hurry, but take it in, man. We're on another planet. That was
Yeah.
so cool. I don't know, Marsha, Richard, Arc 54.
Well,
What do you guys think?
I also believe that the and Kevin can correct me on this, that is done live. So it's not post production when they're looking at the planet. Is that correct? So that they're actually able to see the the planet while they're acting. And maybe he'll answer that. Because usually,
Yeah.
in green screen, you don't see anything but the green screen. But I believe maybe with this new technology, they're able to see it as they are filming, which would make a huge difference, I would think, to the actors and the director.
Bryce is the Arc equivalent of
Yep.
Battlestar's Starbuck.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Mhm.
I like that. Yeah. I That's cool. I had not equated that. That is really neat. And again, I know it came across the other day that I was insulting the Bryce character. I said no. It's just I don't take him as being deep. He's a good man. He's a smart man, educated. He's a navigator for goodness sake. But mm, this is not William. I can't think of any poet from the 1800s. So that is cool. So, Kevin, if you are still there with us, and if I didn't frighten you off, maybe you could answer that comment by Marcia.
Mm. I
But
don't know. I kind of agree with Liz that I think Bryce is not as dim a bulb as he's trying to make believe. I think he's a lot smarter than
you did say that. Oh! Wait a minute. And Rockers Arc 54 ain't falling for Bryce's crap, Roger. She don't care what planet they are. Thank you.
Yes,
Um,
Rogers.
what did you think of that line, though? The one I'm homing in on, where he says, "Hey, I know we're supposed to hurry, but hold on a minute. Look at this view."
I thought it was a very good appreciative scene. Made you think about it.
it kind
Richard.
of reminds me in
Oh,
an operating room where or an ER when things get too hectic and things, people are frazzled and flying around. There's a technique where they go, everybody just stop for a second and breathe for a second, even though they're cutting into a patient or they're whatever, and they take a moment, and then everybody can come together. It's sort of a beat.
Okay.
And they did cut into a patient in this episode too.
Yes, they did.
Oh, by the way, Elizabeth says seems like they've been trying to make Bryce look a bit less sharp this season than last, but he's definitely not dumb. And yes, I hope no one takes it that I think he's dumb. No doubt. I like Bryce. He's a really cool character, and I love the relationship that he has with Ava. I was trying to come up with a third one.
Just spell it. Just spell it.
How do you spell her name? Anyway,
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm actually kind of doing it on purpose now because I really don't know.
Yeah.
I've heard several people. You know,
That's cute.
this fourth. I thank you. This fourth one, or the third one, I just made up right now just to get on people's nerves. I really don't know if it's Ava or Eva. In the Latin field, it would be Eva. Is it Ava? All kidding aside, folks. Is it Ava? Well, then I thank, everyone who's been trying to correct me. And yeah, he's definitely not dumb. I love the way he messes with
Ooh.
Ava.
Okay.
So Kevin Good, yeah. So in the Planet specifically, it was old school green screen. So the actors just had to use their imagination. But we've also done volume work like Mandalorian for other sequences. Bam! There it is.
Thank you,
you
Kevin.
so much, Kevin.
Wow. Kevin, all kidding aside, come on, man. Come on and join us. That would be great. And
So yeah,
have you, Eva?
Eva.
Eva.
As in ever, Eva.
Oh, you see, I was trying to get it right. And okay. Hope you're a good person. She knows it's just part of my thing. I'm sorry. I sorry. Mind your business, Siri. Anyway, this is good. I appreciate that, rockers. Without even trying, I came up with the fourth pronunciation. So, Demelza says, with Lane's clone now aboard, Sharon's going to have a multiplicity Michael Keaton moment.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I remember that movie. I like that one. Was actually cool. Who was opposite him in that one? Was it Gina Davis in Multiplicity? I know everyone in the chat room is trying to help us out, so please.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
It was
I did
like in
bring
the
that up.
early
I'm not a
'90s,
Keaton fan.
right? But I like that. It is good. Yeah. Do you think that there's going to be a moment that they're going to doubt Lane, as we know? I guess we're going to refer to the clone as Ian.
well, that's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.
Well, that's something we're making. We didn't make it up. I mean, we're like, yeah, that's what he's.
Andy
That's his
McDowell.
Well, I'm sorry. What's that? Andy
Andy
McDowell.
McDowell. Yeah.
How the hell did I not know that one?
Yeah, I don't
Good
know.
shot, Demelza. That was good. I had forgotten that one. So, do you think there's going to be a moment where, looking ahead, that they're going to question Lane, and they're actually going to like Ian over Lane, or do you think there'll be a doppelganger moment?
I
Well,
think
they'll
he
always
might-
be able to tell the difference because of the heel.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Ian.
I haven't tried, but I may. So, folks, I thank you. I didn't realize that it was annoying to everyone. I do have pronunciation issues, as you know. And all kidding aside, I'm going to admit it now. I haven't done it in a little while. The reason why I elongate my words, I know Liz knows this, and I know that Richard knows this as well. I don't think Marcia does. But I know you're not going to believe me, but I do stutter. I do have a significant stutter. And the reason why I do pronounce things differently is my intent to control the stutter. I learned a little way of doing it. So I elongate the pronunciation, and it keeps the stutter under control. I will have moments that I have the stutter and I have to leave. Those are rare, but I don't like talking on the phone because I stutter when I'm speaking to people. And a lot of people believe I'm a liar. They think I'm making this up. But people who are close to me have seen moments. Well, actually, I think my host did see a breakdown one time where I actually was stuttering and I couldn't get through it. So I understand it is a bit of a struggle, but I am not one of those people that is significant. But understand that if I do butcher the pronunciation, it's because I'm trying to control the stutter. So that's all, folks. And it's good, but I appreciate it. If my disability annoys you guys, right, Richard? I'm all for it. So it's good. Um, it's all right. Elizabeth says there are some words I pronounce a few different ways too. No worries. It's very kind of you, Elizabeth. So, oh, by the way, when I said that on the phone that I stutter, what I would do is we had a voicemail system at work, so I could contact anyone via our voicemail system as long as you knew their telephone extension, and it would drive them insane because it would say they had a voicemail. And like, dude, I was at my desk. Well, you didn't hear my call. I know how it is. So I would mess with people, but I wouldn't stutter in voicemails, and that's how I would communicate with people. So now you guys know. Sorry for putting them beans out there, but now you know a little bit of the struggle. So, but it's all good. But I love being on here, and it's great. Never ask me to say, "Oh man, you just gave me some more ammunition, Elizabeth." Marcia, how do you pronounce the word?
See, now there you go. See, that's a different.
You're awesome, Elizabeth. All right, how do you pronounce that
I
word?
could say pecan.
Liz?
Pecan.
Richard?
Pecan.
You mean pecan?
You would.
I did that one on purpose.
Oh,
Rockers,
yeah,
Los Angeles.
you're in first grade.
Oh, I'm not falling for it, Roger. You and Bryce are suspects. All right. Well, I don't know. Demelda says you're doing great, Rogers. Oh, see, there it was. Sometimes it depends on if you're a local or a tourist, like Louisville or New Orleans.
Nolans.
There you go, Nolans. Yes. And guys, I appreciate it when people do find. I've never been picked on for that, but when they do find out, people are like, "Is he screwing with us?" I mean, I'm 55 years old. I've been getting away with it. So you
right now, I'm thinking that Bryce is getting close to Eva on purpose because he knows that she's a spy and that he's a spy too. So.
Ooh.
And that's why he's still trying. There you go. No. So this show really gets you thinking about all kinds of different crap because it's got your brain all into turmoil because you can't figure out what they're trying to do with everything. But and like Ian blowing up the ship down below, killing everybody. So there is no rescue mission. So you don't have any more Gen 3s coming on board. And that
you think those are Gen 3s too, Richard?
What's that?
You think that Anne and all of those are Gen 3s?
We don't know yet, but
Or wait a minute. Maybe the Gen 3s are the ones that made it aboard. Exactly. Well, no, there were some Gen 3s that made it aboard, but maybe they're lying by telling the truth. That they accuse the others of being Gen 3s.
Exactly.
We agree?
Yes, we agree, love.
I'm saddened.
But that
fine. I'll go back to hating you.
But that action scene there
Thank you.
In the back of the shuttle where they killed all those Gen 3s that were coming through, and Garnett had that killer move with the door, like she was a gymnast. That was awesome. But none of those people survived. They killed them all. They killed them all. And this security acted faster than the ones last week in the sick bay. The ones that were, the ones that were future ancestors of the Secret Service guards for Trump, but they acted a lot faster. But there was a good action scene. Plus, trying to get the door open and trying to get the shuttle going. So that was very suspenseful. In that, it seemed like forever. It took forever for that scene to play out.
But there's one thing that Marcia had mentioned that, in a way, we kind of already saw. Marcia, you had said that there might be some play between Lane and Ian as far as confusion or different things. There actually already was, because while Bryce was trying to fix the explosion, and they're having this whole fight going on behind him, he's like, "Hurry up, Spence!" And I goes, "Not Spence, man." He's like, "Oh, it's hard to tell." So.
Elizabeth wrote this while we were talking it out. I think Ian and crew are Gen 3 and just haven't snapped yet. Ooh. Demelza says, "Richard, is that a Southern accent? Georgia guy here? It's nice. A fellow Southerner loves the arc." That was directed at you, Richard.
Well, I didn't know. No, I'm in the Midwest, but sometimes I may slip into a Southern.
Oh, no. We're going to go to the East LA song. Where were you born, man?
So, yeah. So I don't know.
He's a Northerner. I mean, not her. She. Him. He's
It
a
depends.
Northerner.
It depends, because if I do go south or I'm around a Southerner, I will pick up the accent and just keep going with it. I will pick it up. I will. I don't mean to. I just do. For some reason, I'll pick it up. But my kin are from the South, so.
Now, switching gears a bit. That gloved hand we saw in the distance when the landing crew approached the crash site. Person or people hiding from Ian's crew?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I missed that. Yet again.
You did watch
Any comments?
Yeah.
Marcia?
Did you say you did watch the program? Is that what you said, Marcia? Oh, Lord. Here you come.
Bring receipts, yo.
Well, when I saw that gloved hand, I thought they were the ones that were going to actually trap Bryce and them, in the ship. But it turned out, we didn't see them again unless they were the ones trying to get into the shuttle later on. But, I thought but yeah, the gloved hand that got that, but anyway, whatever the gloved hand belonged to is gone now.
Oh, yeah.
They were blown up, man. That was
Elizabeth says
interesting.
there was so much in this episode that could have been missed if you blinked. Aww. Thank you.
Well, I've seen it 5 times.
I am getting a lot of love from everyone in the chat.
Well, I have a question about Lane. Okay, if Lane was indeed a clone, Lane was a clone, is a clone. And why wouldn't Felix know about it? Because he knew about Garnet. No, Kabir knew about Garnet being a clone. So wouldn't Kabir know that Lane was a clone? Because even though she was trying to keep it secret, they had to reveal everything about the crew to medical.
But think about how Lane got on board. It was very secretive how he got on board. Also, too many things were hidden, and that doesn't necessarily mean she started digging into Garnet. And who's to say Lane really is a clone? Like I said, he didn't very much be the original.
Mm-hmm. I think he is the original.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that means that he is the original, and the Ian is trying to make him think otherwise to his own devices.
True, but then you go back to how his father treated him. It's very obvious his father was very distant and hard on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like father, shall we say, for lack of a better word, would be to someone he doesn't actually claim as his own biological child.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's some of that there too.
Yeah, and I do think that Lane is not the father's biological child, but I'm not sure that we knew that we were told that for other reasons because well, if you look, I'm looking back at the Mirror Mirror episode. Lane was decidedly darker in his face in the Mirror universe, and his father is a lot darker than the father we saw in the picture in
True.
Lane's quarters. So
There- there-
I'm still trying to figure out what that all means in my head.
True, and there was a lot of things that came back that was different, and that's
Yeah,
what
and
kind of made me come to Roger's side of this.
That's one thing that made me think about Roger's theory.
Yeah, me too.
So
I know.
I'm
I hate
thinking better and better of you, Roger, in that
Mhm.
whacked out theory. What I thought was a whacked out theory at first.
Folks, one day I will put on the internet the 2 scripts that I wrote for Star Trek. Everyone knows that I've done it. I rarely ever talk about it. There's a little deepness to my stories. So one of them, and I'm looking at it right now, it's on my wall. It's entitled Today Hasn't Happened. That's one of my favorite. It was a 2-part episode. And it was about the 5th or 6th season. I forget the time. Oh, somewhere around there in the Next Generation. And then another one's a Voyager episode. A lot of people still don't know that, but yes, I'll talk about my spec script writing days. I'm a frustrated writer. There's a little bit of deepness to my episodes, so I try to watch for those little angles and stuff. But anyway, that's why when I spoke, and you guys have heard me talk about, whenever I'm watching something, I'm paying attention to what the director's doing in music, because my dream was to hear my words on screen, the actions that I wrote, and the music added, and the director. I mean, that would have been one of my greatest highlights. And then that's why I kept that. I want to hear what I want to see what the director's doing and what the music is. 'Cause I never had the chance to have my stories, I'm not going to say published, but out there. But anyway, the reason why I was saying that was, oh my God, there was something I want to share with you guys right now, but I'm getting old. I lost that. We'll continue. You guys help me out. And it had to do with episode 4. Yeah, I forgot right now.
But I still think that Lane is the clone, and that they sandblasted the UPC code off of his heel. So
That's why she said, "Have you ever looked at the bottom of your foot?" And it goes back to, well, they've always told me I had a scar since I was a child. I had an injury as a child.
yeah,
That's why that scar is there.
Okay, I do want to tell you that we have had Kelly on with us. If you want to check our archives on the YouTube channel or on Facebook, Kelly has been. But do you mean Griff? Or who's Griffin?
Griff.
he's
Talking about Griff.
So Kelly and Griff on here. So I think that's what it is. We have had Griff on when we had a larger episode. We've had them both on. And Griff, oh my God, I wish I knew her real name right now. But the reason why she did not stay on with us for a long time was because she did not have a solid internet connection. And I think that remains the case. So
Correct.
I think Kelly will return, and Michael is working on it. And folks, again, I want to give another shout out. All the guests, 99% of them for this year are all Michael Day. There's no doubt about it. And I want to publicly give a shout out to Sci-Fi, to Universal, to NBC Entertainment. And I know it's not the same channel, but we also got the go-ahead from them as well, from HBO. And we are stunned. Oh, and thank you. Thank you. I was about to do it. Thank you, Marcia. Well, go for it. And who else?
Electric Entertainment.
And Electric Entertainment. Yes. And we are blown away, blown away by how they are, for lack of a better word, supporting our efforts to support them. We are eternally grateful and thankful, because without them, we wouldn't have very many. And they've been very kind to us as well. And you know why they're kind? It's because of all of you in the chat room. That's why. But yes, we are hoping to have them back. Um, well, a lot of it is the aforementioned people. I would love to take credit, but no. As I said, I get to take credit when we talk about the network. So yeah, network's mine. I get to, be the one in the corner, laugh and smile and say, "Wow, NDB Media, this is great." That's the extent of it. The hosts are the ones that do the work. The others that get the guests and everything. It's not me. It's everyone else. And it's rare when I get to thank them on air. Marcia, Liz, and Richard, and everyone else. And I should be doing more of that on air. So I thank them, and I thank everyone in the chat room, because you come and spend time with us. Elizabeth, Demelza, Rockers, and if he's still with us, wow, Kevin, thank you. It's absolutely awesome. It just blows us away. Hope, of course, and everyone else who's given us a shout out. If I've missed commenting on your name right now, I am so sorry. But everyone who's given us, Glenn, Casey, Sonia, everyone who has given us a bit of acknowledgement today. It's wow. You guys are spending time with us. It still blows you away, doesn't it, Marcia?
Absolutely.
For you who have a bit of experience yourself in fandom.
It is
So,
an incredible opportunity for a growing fandom, which is wonderful.
Yes.
yeah. And of course, we thank Dean Devlin, and we thank Jonathan
Glasner.
Glassner. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. You see, my team knows when I forget, and it's not deliberate. I'm getting old. So, what I wanted to say about the whole thing on the medical records, I look at it from my point of view of what I did with some of my employers. I was a shop steward, so I do understand a lot of labor law, and I've learned in experiences that just because it's in someone's file or on a phone call or a memo or an email doesn't mean that they know about it. They have to look for it. And maybe Dr. Kabir hasn't had a chance to look through everyone's file yet. So some of the stuff that's been implied of other people being clones, it hasn't come to Dr. Kabir's attention yet. I've learned in experiences when you have troublesome employees, they ain't looking till you give them reason to look.
I see what you're saying.
Is that fair?
However,
Would you agree with that, Marcia?
however, they were in such a crisis situation. There weren't that many of them on board. And once the clone issue came up, I would think that she would have gone through the murder of Jasper Dades came up, that the investigation would have included going through everybody's file to figure out things like that.
But the entire clone issue hadn't come up then. And I don't know when it was, but our dear doctor was suffering from overwork, and she was, for lack of a better
That's
word,
true.
on drugs. So
That's true.
but to do her job, I'm not trying to insult her. Dr. Kabir
Mm.
is a good soul, but she had her drug episode
Mm.
because she was the only one. So far be it for me to even imply that she was a druggie. No. Just to make it clear. Elizabeth Bowman says, Kabir also said on the planet that there were multiple different entities running cloning programs. The records might not have any other one that produced Garnett and her sister.
Correct.
Interesting. So, yes. So,
I'm
it's fair.
Devil's advocate, because clones apparently have certain genetic markers and things where you can detect whether they're a clone or not, because they talked about that in a prior episode. So we can agree to disagree.
Oh, no, hell no.
We're fighting.
And I agree, right, Richard? Remember the time that the big dog pulled out one on me? He says, "Well, we're going to agree to disagree." Well, that's when I set the F bomb record at 16 in 12 seconds. So, no, no, no. That's cool. I
think
prefer
Kabir
that
is
it's
smarter than
contentious.
that. I think we'll find out.
Yes. And I do like that. It's not that we need to agree. It's just awesome that we don't agree. This is cool. Your thoughts on that, guys, on what I was explaining, that they're not looking until they have to look. That could be on their side. That's real in real life. Guys, with your employer, they're not listening into your phone calls. They're not reading your emails. And some people say, well, that's because they have programs. Yes, they have programs looking for keywords. But the point is, they ain't looking unless they have reason to look. There's
Surviving
only
is
so
much more
many
than
people in each organization. I'm sorry, Liz, what was that?
I was gonna say surviving was a lot more important at that point than trying to dig
Yeah.
into people's DNA.
And I'm willing to stipulate that it will eventually happen. It just hasn't happened yet.
I'm just sitting there blinking right now.
Richard, you've gone a tad quiet. Why is that?
Well, I agree. I mean, because I've had to look into records until when we decided that we needed to, and I have gone through and there are things on records that not everybody knows because you don't have access to them. So when you read a record, you go, "Oh, I didn't know that," and then you also can see patterns in that record or other records, and you can notice a pattern, thinking, "Okay, there's something going on here, and we need to investigate even further." But then when you're in crisis, who has time to look through records to see who's a clone or not? I mean, and plus for a while there, Arc 1 was so much damaged, they probably didn't have access to all these records. I mean, Arc 3 getting their head is probably they finally have clean records to look at for the first time since their mission has begun.
And who's to say that all of the upgrade?
So I'm just saying that someone has to go through all these records. I mean, because Eva ever had to go into her records before anybody else did to delete her record, so no one knows what she actually is, a clone spy from the Soviet Union. So, we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think she would have gone in there and deleted the darn things before now?
But what she didn't have, I don't know what you mean by that, Marcia.
Wouldn't she have deleted her own file that incriminated her long before now?
Who are we talking about?
She didn't have access to it till now.
Eva.
Yeah.
She
Arc 1 didn't have that record.
Now, Liz, you made a good point. You said that part was not available because it was on the other arc. So now that it
Correct.
It was there, that she deleted it. That yes.
Yeah.
And then if
And
that
who's
record
to
was
say
on
that
arcade, it's
the
blown up.
I'm sorry, Richard. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Liz. You go ahead.
Who's to say that the original command that we lost with Arc 1 didn't know and actually had certain people on board that knew exactly what she was?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we're compatriots getting her, through things.
We don't know what we don't know. And that's not an escape for writers. Think about it. We didn't know about the Juno room till we knew about the Juno room. I'm not saying that we're going Stephen King and just making stuff up as we go along. There are things on that ship that were lost.
What are you talking about?
Well, maybe Kabir does know, and she's keeping it quiet for some reason.
And also,
I had that thought 20 minutes ago. I'm like, who's the mole? They're all moles.
But you also got to realize there's the records, and then there's the records. Because
Double set of books.
Yeah, I mean, because you might have, because in that scene with Eva, there should have been people having different access to different parts of the computer system. Just like when you have a separate, lock out people from a certain section of the computer, you can lock these people out. And who's
Yeah.
to say that, they're probably section 33. So, I mean, we have, we don't know yet. It's going to be interesting. That's why we're watching this damn thing in the first place, because we don't know what the hell's going on.
Yes, and we are getting into the weeds on this. I know we are, and I want to thank the audience for staying with us on this. But for those that are in organizations, you know that there are multiple levels of security. That's not even been addressed here. Is there, or is there just one, master password, for lack of a better word?
I would hope
Because
not.
Kimmy was talking about giving me access. What was she talking about? How much level? And of course, Strickland was like, "You ain't getting it,"
Yeah.
because it's like the
Right.
ultimate authority. So I think at this point we're probably, looking for the needle in the haystack. It's going to be much simpler, but I am a bit surprised that Eva was able to alter her own record. She shouldn't be able to do that, chief engineer or not. But what are the levels of security? This was a civilian ship. It was meant to establish another society or another colony. It didn't have a military mindset. There, we're probably in the woods for too many reasons, or the weeds, I should say.
But remember, nothing's really deleted.
Hold on a minute, Marsha. What was that, Richard?
I'm going to say, remember, nothing really is deleted.
Yeah, that
no
is.
matter what that message said. And there are people smart enough on that crew that if they really wanted to dig, if they knew to dig for it, they could find it. Right now, they have no reason to dig for any hidden, deleted files or anything like that. That'll like come up later around episode 8 or 9. When
Richard, you kind of just confirmed a little bit of what I said, that you don't look until you need to look.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know.
Folks, that's just experience in the workplace. That's all. It's not that I know any more than what. No. It's just I've learned that reason that people say, "Oh, well, they're listening to everything." Look, psycho. Okay, it's not that they're listening or reading everything. It's just give them reason to look, and they will. Yep. Don't be stupid. Yes, that was a Roger line at his workplace. Don't be stupid. Marsha, I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
Well, they did have Felix addressed the different levels of access in season 1 when they were looking for Jasper Dade's killer, because he said, well, who has level blah blah access to be able to blah blah blah, and so he by process of elimination he was able to say, well, it's this person, this person, this person, and that person, because there were only very few people who had that level of access. So yeah, they have addressed that.
And it looks like 5 people have that access, right? And that would be Garnett, Lane, Bryce,
Eva,
and Strickland.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, Strickland said, "I'm not military, I'm civilian."
Mm-hmm.
That was not done in his accent, and that was not making fun of him, because he will be on. And if you guys undercut me, I just said it to say it, just to try to be funny.
I'm already preparing for that.
Oh, cut it out! Cut it out!
Download this episode and we play it.
As we've learned, more and more of our guests have seen some of our episodes, folks. In a way, it's wow. In another way, it's, oh, damn. They've actually seen what we've done. So, yes, and Strickland. Elizabeth says, that's right. Garnett said the people who had the highest access were South Lane, Bryce, and Eva?
EVA.
Eva! Okay.
Yeah. So now that we've beaten that horse pretty well.
Yeah, we did.
We petted that horse, and the horse is calm and asleep.
Roger, an easy way to think of it is evangelical. Just Eva.
Hija de tu madre, vas a seguir con eso, huh? Okay. You guys can all get the translation for that after the fact.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just sharp. That's all. But hija de su madre, vas a ir a... I basically said, no, you figure it out. It's actually kind of funny. It's not derisive in any way. It's actually kind of funny. And I'm basically saying, oh, really? You're going to keep up with it? Oh, okay, Elizabeth. Tell me what. Okay, please. I do speak some Spanish. Was it funny? Please help me out. You've been cool enough to this point, Elizabeth. So, all right. Wow, we've had a wonderful conversation. A lot of the stuff. Now, I thought it was also kind of cool that we learned that Arc 3 was a bit more up to date than even Arc 1. Remember, they mentioned that it looks like everyone on the senior staff now gets their own room. That was cool.
Yeah.
And yes, I appreciate it. It wasn't mean, right, Elizabeth? It was meant to be funny. So please help me out on that one. And for those of you that are going to look back, it was really just meant to be funny. And it really was like, all right, you're going to go there, aren't you? That's what it was.
I'm used to you throwing jabs at me anyway.
All right. So I want to throw this out there to my co-host and to everyone in the chat room. I call all the people in hydroponics or the biodome. You heard what I call them. I call them Angus Pit engineers. Does anyone have another word for them? So I would just like to know, because I did appreciate in the scene where in the episode before, they kind of rode Angus a little bit by saying, no, oh, you're the one that did this. And it was derisive in nature. And they were like, well, this and this and this, whatever. They were very insulting. In this episode, they pointed out another thing to him. And he said, oh, well, look, you're not paying attention. And he got in, and she was just like, oh, yeah, okay, moved on. Typical engineer. But it was good. And I know it made Angus feel a little bit better. And it was cool. So thank you, Elizabeth. It was meant to be funny. So I thank you. And if you chuckled a little bit, it worked. I wonder how it was translated, though. Because sometimes it butchers a translation on the words underneath. But okay. What else, guys? There was a lot in this episode. Kelly said she was tired of being a freak. And the doctor told her, look, you need to accept the augmentations. They're a permanent part of you. I can't just remove them. For me to remove that, it will destroy who you are and it'll probably kill you. So I thought that was cool, because the whole thing is Kelly's trying to kill herself because she
Not
is a freak.
anymore.
Well, maybe not anymore, but she no longer has that bomb. So could you imagine when she talks to people in the hallway? Hey, you know I might go off. Don't cross me.
Well, Kelly is
She
no
can't
longer
use that one anymore.
Kelly is no longer the bomb.
Oh, even better, Richard.
That was good.
Yes.
That was good.
She used to be the bomb. Now she's not the bomb anymore. So that's hurting her ticket sales.
I want to know if the same people making the vodka are growing weed. What's up? Okay. Yeah, I'd like to know as well. And we have a problem. The captain hasn't taken her chair. You're
Yep.
right.
Yep.
The director Milan was so awesome in explaining that.
Yes.
What were your thoughts about that at the very end when she finally took the helm?
Well, that was at the beginning.
She took the receptionist desk.
That's
People don't
the
need to
funniest
know
thing you've said so far. Oh my gosh.
People don't need to know that. Well, what were your thoughts, Arc 54?
It's hilarious.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious with that, because it's been a while. She's been avoiding actually truly accepting the fact that she's captain.
Mhm.
And when she finally sat down at the captain's seat, captain's chair, she, in her mind, had fully determined and put herself in that mindset. She was the captain of the ship. She'd been acting it before, but it had never sunk into herself.
I have been frustrated by the Garnett character in the last few episodes, in that she makes decisions without even talking over it with the council. I thought everything was supposed to be done. But on the other hand, good or bad, whether I like the decisions or not, I've seen Garnett as decisive and consistent. I understood why she said, hey, we can't get rid of those Gen 3. They're people. And I was like, said the clone. But
Yeah.
she's consistent. She, and in the same way that she refused to kill Kelly or have her executed, there's a consistency whether we like the character or not. I want to give a shout out to the writing staff as well as to Christy for having that come across. I believe the character is flawed. She is real, but she has been a good captain. Whether I agree with her decisions or not are immaterial. She is decisive. And you guys know that in perilous times, right or wrong, you need someone there to make the decisions. And she has. And please don't take this as a judgment that I think the character is flawed. No, I think the character is real. And Chrissy's portrayal of such is good. So, Bennett's, oh, yeah. Yeah, didn't remind me of Janeway. Yes, yes, I do.
And
I
you got
agree.
yeah. Well, I don't like the captain setup because
I don't either.
you don't want your crew behind you at all. You want to be able to keep an eye on your crew, and plus, how do you talk to your crew? Because if you're talking this way, you always got to turn around and talk to them. I mean, the center seat is the best way to do this, but I realize they want to do it separately, but still, it looks like they got her. They went down to Costco and got her a desk and put it on the bridge, and it looks like a receptionist desk. I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like the aesthetic of it at all. That's just me. It'd been easier if she had a single seat watching that. But also, you got to. The other big thing is that Kelly gave Trust her little her iPhone, her iWatch,
Yeah.
and now Trust can play with it and take control of Kelly.
I think we're going to see a whole different side of that dynamic between the two of them. A whole different side.
Yes.
And I don't think it's going to be the hate that we have seen coming from Trust. I think there will be some understanding and softening of trust with Kelly.
Sucker.
Yes, and I am so happy that it didn't happen on a dime.
Yeah.
It just changed. We see it progressing. The guy still wants to eliminate her, still, right now. But he is having conversations with her because there is no one else. And she has come to him to ask for help.
I'm still
And
saying
being
he's
who he
going to.
is, I'm sorry?
I'm still saying he's going to use that watch to take control of Kelly. And plus, you got it, but then again, you have to remember Moriarty was so misunderstood.
True.
I kind of hope they don't soften Trust because although they might, because they brought in some new characters to be the evil ones, but if you soften him, then who's the hard case? If you soften Kelly, who's the villain?
You're going to need that hard.
Maddox is coming back.
You're going to need that hard case, Marcia. You're right. I mean, you're still going to need a hard case on your side.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at what the writing staff has done, our story leaders, Trust has not changed in any way whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
He admitted it in the very first episode. Hey, I have no control here. So he is still who he is. I believe we've talked about it in other episodes. People in the chat room have talked about it, where Trust understands the reality of his situation. The animal has not changed. It's like it's a scorpion. The scorpion is still a scorpion. Just because you put him in a different environment, you hear the dogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me go silent. Guys, go ahead and continue.
That's okay. I don't know if Roger can hear me or not, but you generally hear mine yapping most of the time too. So you're in good company.
I just think that Trust is going to program that watch, and it's going to make Kelly go a little haywire and get her in more trouble.
So is she the bomb or not the bomb? Which one is it, Richard?
Well, she's not. If she still has the bionics, so she can still go off and hurt people. So we'll see. I just think I just don't think it was. I think Kelly was a little too trusting of Trust, and as Elizabeth, as Liz likes to say, you can't trust Trust. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not a truster, as somebody had commented the other day.
So we'll see. It's gonna. We got 6 more episodes of to clinch
It's
our.
hard to, it's hard to believe we're already halfway through. It seems
Oh,
to
I know.
have gone so quickly after waiting so long for episodes. And it's
Remember, guys, that Kelly is not able to make her iWatch, for lack of a better word, work. Trust is taking it to shut her up.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind.
Well, I hope
Rick Kitchen, going to sign off and watch later. Haven't seen the latest episode. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. But Rick, thank you. This is the first time we see a post from you. We want to thank you. Oh, I hope we haven't ruined it for you, but that's what we're doing.
there's so
So I
much
do
more
apologize.
I even
Sorry.
missed, so I have to go watch it again too.
I do. Yes. So I want to go back and see when Lane is on his, his bed right there in his quarters. I want to see if it does say Andy on it, but that's okay. Um, I think the only other thing that I would comment is, no, you know what? Actually, we have, Kimmy and Bryce. Okay, we did talk about it for
Mhm.
Marissa Ye, right? The character,
Yeah.
that there's a denial. Now, we did learn that Kimmy and Lottie are the ones that are on their own mission to eliminate Eastern Federation people.
Right. They're EF hunters.
Yeah, they're EF hunters. I had a name for them. Oh, I'd called them the EF Kill Squad. The minute I realized what it was, I was like, "Ooh, that's cool." We as a fandom had an idea that they were on a particular mission. We just didn't know exactly what it was.
So are
And they
they acting
clarified
on
it.
their own, or is there yet another organization?
I think there's another organization out there as well.
Everybody's got a.
Hmm.
Everyone's got some history. That was good. I like that. I wasn't thinking of another organization because for those of you that saw Battlestar Galactica, remember in season 3, it was collaborators, what they were doing. Everyone that collaborated with the Cylons on New Caprica,
Mhm.
there was a black op authorized by the president to deal with the collaborators. That was
Yep.
some deep, dark, dirty, ugly stuff in Battlestar Galactica. They had to have it was 5, right? 5 had to sign
Yeah.
off,
Mhm.
and then they would eliminate the collaborator.
Mhm.
well, wouldn't it just be the Enumerati, or however you pronounce that?
It could be Illuminati. You
Right.
never know.
Illuminati. You
But
know,
I think they're operating along those lines, that they're out to get rid of, because we don't know what the EFs did to others. Yes, yes, we are. I want to remind everyone to head over to ndbmedia.net. We are going to have the gentleman. Uh, I'm trying to get
Leonard.
to the website right now. Yes, please go ahead. Paul Leonard Murray on August 31st, and he will be on a Trekking Across the Universe episode. It will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, or 1900 hours UK and 2200 hours Serbia. Yeah, you know what? I think we're finishing up. Rockers LA, I thank you. Yes, guys, we have a lot of people. It's on calendar. Check it out.
Yes.
And if you subscribe to YouTube, when the episode is programmed, you'll see it as upcoming as well. That's why we're asking everyone to subscribe on YouTube. It helps us out. So, we are coming near the end. I think we may already be there. Guys, the only other thing that we did not utter on this program is when they learned about Earth in the 8 months that they've been in the dark, they learned that there were 2 trillionaires that also launched ships,
Correct.
and that others, possibly hundreds, launched after Arc 3. And we found out that 2 ships, Eastern Federation, were armed. That's what we did learn. So I think they basically said it was over, right? That Earth is gone. There's nothing
Yeah.
left. Okay. All right. Is there anything else, guys? Because otherwise, looking at everything, man, we did discuss it. I don't think we left anything else out.
The only thing I can say is one line that I absolutely adored is on the planet when they were trying to get off the planet, and or actually when they were going down there right after that. Lane finds out he's got the brother, and he's kind of like, "Ugh, I've got a brother," and he's denying it, and all of a sudden Bryce comes up and goes, "But you have another brother. He's Scottish and better looking." I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was. Um, this was a good episode.
Yeah, I am Lane's other brother. I'm Scottish
Yeah.
and better looking.
There's a lot
That
of
was a
stuff,
good line. I agree with you, Liz. That was a good line. I
That
mean,
was.
yeah. And I can tell that it's very late. I've seen our audience numbers right in the last few minutes or so. They know we're ending. So we're going to go ahead and end this one. Folks, this was really good. This was, wow, episode 6. We are now halfway through the season. We have 6 more weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat room. Thank you for commenting and letting us know that you're listening. Wow, it's really cool. Of course, thank you to all the powers that be: Electric Entertainment, Sci-Fi, NBC Universal. Wow, we're just absolutely blown away. I know there's a production company out in Serbia that we have not given cred to, and we need to do so as well. And to all the agents, to everyone that has helped us, and everyone in the program. Yes, no, you guys are. If
Yeah.
you guys want to join us, let us know. This is how it began. This is how Marsha joined us. This is how Liz joined us, among others. And Jag, everyone said yes to my invite at one time or another. That's the sad connection that we all have. That I asked and they said yes. So it's good. And I think that's it. Any final thoughts, guys, before we go?
Okay.
Marsha, any announcements, anything?
I'm good.
Ark?
Yep, good. You covered it.
Richard?
As Roger said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when to catch other exciting episodes from NDB Media.
We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace!